everybody, my name is Tori Brame and this is my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am going to talk about what is going on in somebody's head when you tell them, oh, you don't look sick. So let me back up. I'm a huge advocate for invisible illnesses. I like to bring awareness to them, and I also like to talk about what they feel like. I think this is really important for friends and family who have people in their lives who have invisible illnesses, whether it be depression, some sort of arthritis, another autoimmune disease causing pain or discomfort all the time. These people look normal. Everything about them is normal. However, inside, things are not normal. Things can range from absolute despair to unrelenting agony and physical pain. And one of the most common responses when people tell somebody about their invisible illness, like, yes, I actually struggle with migraines, or yes, I actually have lupus and I'm in pain all the time, and no, I don't want to go bowling with you because I can't hold the ball. One of the biggest responses we get is, well, you look great, or, oh, you don't look sick, or something like that, where it's like, well, I mean, if you would see my blood work, you would see I am actually very ill. So these are just 5 things that usually people are thinking about when you say you don't look sick. First of all, the mental load of having an invisible illness is huge. When my lupus was really bad and I was flaring really bad, is one thing that I had to do constantly was modulating my movements, like planning out movements so that I only had to, the upstairs neighbors are playing and they're having so much fun, and if they're loud, sorry, but they have kids up there and they're having a great time. So if I was going into the silverware drawer, it hurt to open the silverware drawer, it hurt to close it, it hurt to pick up anything. So someone who is pain-free doesn't really have to think about that, and so they can open and close the silverware drawer as many times as they need to. But I would actually have to mentally plan it. I would be like, okay, everything that I need in the silverware drawer, I have to get at one time so that I only have to open it once, pain, and I only have to close it once, pain. And so it's like, you know, when you tell someone they don't look sick, you're not seeing what is going on behind the scenes. You're not seeing how hard it is to wear the mask if you're struggling with depression. They don't see how much mental math you have to do on a constant day-to-day basis to count your reserves of energy or pain tolerance or whatever it is against the task you're doing or the thing that you've committed to. Number 2 is they're doing the war of telling you versus not telling you. Also, if you can see this in the camera, so ADHD, me, I have it. I have to play with something while I talk. Otherwise, like, I'm just like doing things that make noise and, like, you know, just checking my phone and stuff like that because I get nervous in front of the camera. That's just me. So I have a coping skill of playing with a toy or something. I have this guy too, where it does not make noise while I talk, so that I can get through a video and not just make a bunch of noise. Because another thing, so I've actually had videos, I'm sorry, this is a whole tangent. I've actually had videos where I was clicking a pen and I have to, like, go back and get all the times out where you can hear, like, the click in the background. So noiseless toy. All right, number 2, telling someone versus not telling somebody. When you say you don't look sick, there's a tiny little accusation of you're faking it. Little implication of, well, you don't look sick, so how sick could you be? Or, like, almost like trying to talk you out of it. Like, oh, you don't look depressed. You don't look like you're in pain. You don't look like that bothers you. So we have this hard time deciding whether or not how much we want to go into it. Because if we really tell you, you know, like, yeah, I'm on day 4 of a migraine. This is the 6th specialist that I've been to since I started trying to figure out what was wrong with me and how to cure my migraines. And this specialist I have to go to, I have to pay for out of pocket, and I have to travel 3 hours away to get to them. It's actually really hard, and it's actually an effing miracle that I am here right now, because all I want to do is be in a dark room and not talking to you and not trying to justify how I look compared to how I'm feeling. Another thing that comes into that is if you really said that out loud to somebody, they would start treating you differently. And that is hard. because nobody wants that. We don't want to be like, okay, now forget everything I just said and treat me normally. And also that puts a huge mental burden on you. You know, it's our mental burden that we are carrying around, that yes, we are counting spoons right now and we only have 2 left and we're not really sure how we're going to finish this conversation and get home. But that puts it on you, and then it's awkward and it's weird, and now you know that about us, so next time you see us you'll be like, oh, how are your migraines? And it's like we have to live with that internally all the time anyway, and so having to talk to you about it too, like it's just hard. It's hard. Number 3, we want to be normal so bad. Anybody with some kind of chronic condition, some kind of invisible illness, at some point in our lives we were probably okay, and then we were not okay. And then we went down this long journey of trying to figure out how to be okay again. And, you know, it's really hard when, you know, especially in the friend group, and this has happened to me so much where, you know, everybody's just like, hey, we're going to go out for ice cream afterwards, but you're probably not going to come because you don't do dairy or sugar or anything because of, you know, your lupus. And then you're kind of like, I'm not going to eat any. It doesn't mean I'm not dead. Like, it's still fun to hang out with people, and, you know, it's fun to see the kids eat ice cream and, you know, all that stuff. Or when it's like, hey, yeah, we're going to go out for Italian, but you're gluten-free. Like, you probably, is that going to be okay for you? And then it brings like all this attention, all this embarrassing, shameful attention towards you and your invisible illness. And so it's like, while it is nice to be accommodated and people mean well and you really, you know, that's okay, it's hard to explain that to people, how you are different, but you don't want everybody to treat you differently. You do need accommodations. However, you don't want the accommodations to be the main focus of the relationship or the outing or whatever it is. One of the nicest things I've ever experienced is when a friend or a partner or a family member or a loved one accommodates me without even talking about it. That is very nice. You know, like, so when I was really bad, my hands were really curled and I couldn't open them. Like, they were very swollen. My tendons were swollen, so I couldn't physically open my hand. And if somebody just opened the door for me every time, or, you know, took something off of me, like something that I was carrying, just took it, didn't ask, just like, here, let me get that, you know, or something like that, where it's like, it can be perceived as just a kind gesture, but they know, and I know, how much that helps me. That is literally the deepest kindness. Like, that is so nice when you do that for your friends. Number 4, we get so good at hiding pain. And it is really embarrassing when people draw a bunch of attention to it. And so we get so good at hiding pain that we can just be in pain and act normal, act totally fine. And so when people tell you, you know, you don't look sick, it's like, do you know how good of an actor I am? Like, I can hide pain like nobody else, like nobody's business. And when you don't hide pain, another thing that comes up sometimes is people comparing their pain to your pain. You have joint pain, for instance, and they're like, oh yeah, last year, you know, I got a sprained ankle, so totally know what you're going through. It's like, bruh, no you don't. No you don't. I've been suffering from joint pain for the last 8 years at this point, and your sprained ankle, like, so sorry for you, but no, that is not the same thing as this. If you really want to empathize with somebody, don't bring yourself into it. Don't be like, oh, I know how you feel, or I had an aunt, or, you know, whatever it is. Just be like, that must be really hard. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do better? Is there anything I'm doing right now that I shouldn't be doing? What can I help with? All these things are much better than trying to make this chronic illness relatable. Chronic illnesses are very common, but also rare. You know, it's like 1 in 100 people suffer from, 5 out of 100 people suffer from. That is 99 or 95 people out of 100 that don't suffer from. And so they're very common. We all know somebody with some kind of chronic illness, some kind of autoimmune depression, whatever it is, but they're not everybody. And chances are, if you have a group of 10 people, only 1 or 2 people are going to have situations like that going on behind the scenes. And another thing is, these diseases can be very unique. you know, my arthritis looks nothing like your arthritis. My migraines are completely different from your migraines. And so like comparisons, like that's one reason why we get so good at hiding things, is because we don't want to explain to you how your comparison is not relevant in our situation. We don't want to bring attention to what we're going through. We just kind of want to get through it. And the last thing is trying to mentally calculate what this interaction is going to cost you later. And I don't just mean the, well, you don't look sick interaction, the social energy you're putting out, the physical energy you're putting out if you're anywhere outside the house, just everything that you are doing that is not that rest and kind of regenerative practice. That is something we have to calculate. You know, that's like what comes back to the spoon theory. I should probably do a video about spoon theory. But, you know, a normal person has spoons that are like that are given back throughout the day. A person with an autoimmune disease, they might wake up with 10 spoons, and a shower is a spoon, going to work is a spoon, any social interaction is a spoon. And so it's like by noon, they are done. They are all out of spoons. They are in pain. They have no energy, no motivation to do anything else that day. And they still have to find a way to function, have to find a way to get through it, even though they're basically a ghost going through their day at that point. So the mental calculation of trying to figure out how much this interaction will cost you, how you can get those spoons back, how you can get that energy back when it's done, that's a lot. These are things that, you know, normal people not suffering from an invisible illness don't really think about. If you guys have anything else that you would like to add to this, leave it in the comments. I think it's really important for people to see. Thank you guys so much for the comments on everything. Actually, I don't always have time to reply to all of them, but I do read all of them, and I really appreciate your contributions. I hope you guys are doing okay, and if anybody has said this to you, or someone has a habit of doing one of these things and you don't really want to tell them directly, just send them this video. I'll tell them. I'm totally fine with that. Thank you guys so much for watching and being here, and I'll talk to you next time.